Hey guys, it's me, it's Jim from War Barn. Coming over here. I got a really exciting show today. I'm pretty excited about it. Some really good things happening here. Well, one thing in particular I'm really happy about. So what I'm going to talk about is the glacis plate here. This is the front of the tank. I've got the machine gun delete for my radio version that I'm going to make. So what I got here is I was really excited about for a long time getting this driver's armored vision port. Okay, come in here, cameraman. Let's take a look at this. This took me years to get. I bought this during COVID. Customs shipping was really crazy. This came from a battlefield in Ukraine. It was ground dug. It is for a variation of the 38T chassis. Okay, so it is correct for the chassis. But not exactly, because they made some variants. They made a Martyr 3. So after 42 and the 38T chassis became obsolete, they started putting cannons on top. So this is very similar to the two visors that should be on here. But once I got this here, I realized it's a little bit longer. It's stylized a little bit different. There's some curves different on there. And that's where it led me to this. Now, even though it took a long time to get this, a big hassle, I had to ship it to my in-laws over in Europe and then have it shipped over here. I'm still happy with this. It was very economic. It's still a Panzer collectible item, and it was about a couple $100 with shipping and everything. But I found out it was too short. I didn't know what to do. My first thought was, hey, let's cut this down. It'll look just as right. Shave a little bit over here, shave a little bit over there, and we'll be all good. However, once I realized all the work, the pitting, we'd have to weld this, file it down, I thought one of two things. One, I can go ahead and have the correct dimensions 3D printed and use that 3D printed plastic example for casting. So part of my dilemma was, well, it's not real. Okay, here's the thing. Since I bought this 5 years ago, or whatever it was, 4 or 5 years ago, when the correct visor for these tanks pop up, very expensive to ship, and they still might be rusted. So come here, I'll give you some more details on this. So, what I have here is the correct dimensions for the 38T visor. This is 3D printed. It is a beautiful job. I got at this point, I gotta say thank you very much to my friend Alex in France, okay? My friend that I met on the internet, he's a very enthusiastic person about this. He's got 3D printed capabilities and an engineering background. So, we got these dimensions one of two ways. We used two different ways to get the correct dimensions. So he reversed engineered a model and just found out what that factor should be. Measured the small size, multiplied it by a factor to get it to the correct size, and we use this visor that most of the dimensions are correct too. The height, the holes for the vision, the indentations that are milled in there. So there where we at. So here is a beautiful piece that I've been dying to get for step one, which is a huge step. Of course, the second step would be finding a casting company that can cast this for me. So it's a great job, beautiful job. For example, on this Martyr 3, this profile is pointy. On the 38T chassis, it should be more rounded, okay? Now this hole here is a little bit off, but that's okay. I know exactly where the hole should be. When I cast that somehow, we're gonna have that filled in, and then later we'll go ahead and drill the proper length for this rod, which the hinges go on. So with that being said, here is the original mounting, the original hinge, okay? So this basically goes on there. This will go into the glacis plate, okay? And then we have the spring to help open it or close it right there. So here's an original spring. Even though it's, quite long, the spring didn't run the whole length, I believe. So basically, I'm just gonna find a spring for this. I already have the axles for the new hinges. So that's, with that being said, that's something that would have to be made, is these hinges. So these hinges go right here, and then once the rod goes through there on either side, this will mount onto here, be open to close, will be good. So Another thing I'm thinking, as long as I make these holes exactly where they should be on an original one, I still have the option, if I do locate some original visors for this chassis in good condition. Until then, I'm going to go with this. Nice glacis plate, fresh metal. Machine gun covers can be fresh metal. Same with this, will be casted, I think in cast iron, and then when we're done, this will have to be machined. So that's where we're at on that. So yeah, that's where we're at. What else can I tell you about this? I got the axles ready to go. They will go over here. So I just got to cut them to length. Of course, when I first got them, I got them for the length for the martyr. Cut this down, make the hinges, put the spring in there, and of course, we're going to need a handle. So we already got the provisions for the handle. You can see on the old one, this is where they were. And then on the 38T, there's a similar device that goes in here that kind of guides it. So when you open it, there is like a metal curved piece of sheet metal, and of course this is how it would look. You really probably can't see with that, but on the other hand, that's what you'll be looking through. And if you're not in combat situation, take the handle, push it up, and then you look through the hole. Of course, that hole's gonna have to be machined. But now I have an example correctly, exactly how this opening's gonna sit and fit in here. I can go ahead and draw that up along with the other holes for the hinge. So there you go. Beautiful example. If you see on this up front, I don't think we're going to cast this. I think we're going to fill this in, and then we're going to machine it. So when we machine it, we'll machine this big one with a milling tool, a smaller hole on an angle, and so forth. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 machine cuts, and once that 4th machine cut is done, we'll have that. So there you go, guys. Very excited about this. This will get me to where I can start beginning the glacis plate, which is basically the front of the hull. Very enthusiastic. I'm trying to find some places right now. There are some places locally that do casting. I just got to find a place that's not, against doing a small job, doing something for a hobby, so to speak. But there we are. So yeah, let's take a look. This would be the driver's position, roughly, would be there. And of course, if they're in a driving position, it looked like that. It's kind of cool to visualize how that's going to look. Of course, we'll use this to trace the holes, cut that out, take it to a machine shop that has a laser or a water pressure cutting tool. And of course, the other one over here is for the driver. So radio operator and then driver. Small step, guys, but a big one. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you watching. If you can subscribe, if you can, share, like, and I appreciate it. I'm gonna head out, guys. Time for me to leave. Gonna hit the bricks. Au revoir. So long. Farewell.